Chapter 5, Lesson 2, Mental Disorders. Alright, understanding mental disorders. Well, the first thing is the definition of mental disorder, which is an illness of the mind that can affect lots of things. Thoughts, feelings, behaviors. Basically, what they say is that if the illness or disorder is preventing a person from leading a healthy, happy, productive life, then it would be classified as a mental disorder. And there's lots of people right now who are struggling, and there's a huge stigma that's attached to it. Stigma being that, it's looked at as a bad thing in our society to have a mental disorder. Not that it's necessarily a good thing, but yet it's nothing to be shameful of or nothing to be feeling like, you can't let people know that you're suffering from something like that. But in our society, people are looked at, who have mental disorders are sometimes, rejected by other people. So the first type of disorders we're going to talk about is anxiety disorders, and we already talked about anxiety, but anxiety disorder is a condition in which real or imagined fears are difficult to control. And it could be a phobia, which is a strong irrational fear about something specific, which we'll watch a couple of videos here shortly in regards to that. Obsessive compulsive disorder, which are thoughts that or obsessions that lead us to do things that, we all probably do, but like wash our hands. Some people who are obsessive compulsive will wash their hands, but they won't just wash it once or twice, or when appropriate, they'll be washing them, 30, 40 times a day. Or they do things like count ceiling tiles, or count tiles on the floor, or count the words that the person who's speaking them to them are. Just a lot of repetitive behaviors that way. Panic disorders or panic attacks, sometimes accompanied by trembling or excessive heart racing, shortness of breath, dizziness, can be examples of a panic disorder. Post-traumatic stress disorder, which we see a lot with some of our Iraqi and Afghanistan veterans coming back who have seen some really horrendous things out there in battle, coming back with some post-traumatic stress disorder. But we also have people who are in car accidents or who have witnessed the murder of their loved ones, who can suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder as well. And then just generalized anxiety disorder, which, again, it's exaggerated feelings of being worried and having anxiety about something and really unexplained reasons for that. A lot of times those people have a hard time concentrating, just being able to relax, and sometimes even sleeping is a hard thing for them. Here is a video, and a funny video, I guess, on phobias.
Hey, great mixer, huh?
Yeah, what a terrific idea. We're all here, we all have our own phobias, but we can get together, meet each other, and not feel so alone for once.
Yeah. What's your phobia?
Oh, I have this unexplainable fear of apologies.
Sorry?
Ah!
What?
I just told you I have this unexplainable fear of apologies.
Oh!
What?
I'm terrified of repetition.
Terrified of repetition?
Hey, great mixer, huh? Sorry. No screaming. I have a fear of the word which is spelled A-A-G-H exclamation point. That word.
I'm apologies.
Repetition. Hello.
How? I mean, hi.
Good evening.
Ahoy there.
I have a fear of awkward silences. I should have told you guys. I'm sorry.
Hey, great mixer, huh?
What was that?
Bark at other people's phobias. Tried to switch out with the other waiters and they were all like, sorry.
Listen, this has got to stop, okay? I'm afraid of repetition.
You're afraid of repetition?
I'm scared of apologies.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Man, this is so frustrating. I could just scream.
No screaming. I have a fear of the word which you spell A-A-G-H exclamation point. That word.
Okay, you guys are all crazy.
You said it, pal. We're just a big bunch of freaks. I'm sorry.
All right, so obviously kind of a funny skit on phobias, but for some people it's not so funny. This next one here, this next video that I'm going to show you is a lady who is afraid of all things cotton balls, but it seems like she has not just a fear, but an extreme fear of them.
Cotton balls, they make me sick. I cannot deal with it. I can't be in the same room with them. I have to run. Talking about it, I sweat profusely. I start shaking. I cry. I've hit people. The sound that cotton makes physically makes me ill. I have a nightmare of a man who is made of cotton balls, and he is trying to kill me by putting them in my mouth. And I've had this recurring dream for as long as I can remember.
Don't go back there.
No,
There's a lot of cotton back there. Carolyn, come here. This is what? No.
Get back! I'm gonna hit you! I'm gonna hit you! Get back!
Move back. Okay, we got it. They all left.
It is a crippling and mysterious disease that makes everyday life a minefield for some 5 million Americans. OCD, or obsessive compulsive disorder. And one of those people is superstar comedian Howie Mandel. On stage, he makes millions of people laugh, but off stage, he can't shake hands with them, or touch a doorknob, or a glass, or even be with his own family at times. Here's David Muir.
It's 7 o'clock in the morning, and Howie Mandel arrives at the set of Deal or No Deal.
First trick of the day.
Almost immediately, glimpses of the Howie Mandel that he's kept secret for most of his career.
Handrails are my enemy. I never go near a handrail. I won't open those things. I would never serve myself. I wouldn't touch this because a lot of people have touched that. This is actually my nightmare.
Mandel has obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD.
I love this. Every door should just push out.
His obsession, germs, an obsession made famous with his trademark fist bump.
And what's the difference between shaking the hand and the fist bump?
In my mind, this is a petri dish. Otherwise, I would spend the day as I have in the past in my life in the men's room, rubbing and scrubbing and scalding.
But as we were about to learn, Howie Mandel's OCD goes far beyond that fist bump. Off stage, it is all-consuming.
Look, everything's brand new each day. That's normally how a workstation looks. Look at my stuff. It's all brand new, not touched.
Even Mandel's trademark bald head is this way by choice.
This feels so streamlined and so clean. You know, it just feels cleaner.
Not even 8:30 in the morning, and we've barely scratched the surface. Mandel has written a new book called Here's the Deal, Don't Touch Me, revealing his at times crippling struggle with OCD.
It's uncomfortable, and it's hard, and it's somewhat embarrassing. There were many times when I wanted to back out. I'm not somebody who sits down with strangers as I sit here. We go way back, but it's not you, it's them.
Mandel's fans would never know just how deep it goes. Until now, the audience had only heard this.
Howie Mandel does not shake hands, okay?
Howie
You
Mandel
either
does not
knuckle
shake
him, you can hug him. You can knuckle him, you just can't shake his hands.
Backstage, it's the rush to the set. Howie Mandel has been on stage for 30 years now, first making his mark as a manic young comic from Toronto. There would be more than 20 appearances on The Tonight Show, Johnny Carson.
I've been carrying this for about 2 months now. It's a lucky rabbi's foot.
See, a lot of folks would think that's what would set off a panic attack.
Is sitting next to Johnny Carson your idol?
That's totally different than the fear that OCD injects into my life, which is terror.
He would go on to star in the TV drama St. Elsewhere.
That's Dr. Twerp to you.
He was the voice of Gizmo in Gremlins. And Bobby in Bobby's World.
I don't think you should plug that in.
His daytime talk show.
Here's Howie.
It had a short run. Years went by. And then just as he considered bowing out of show business altogether, the phone call that he first considered an insult.
Your wife called this one, though, right?
Yeah, my wife said take it, take the deal.
Mandel tells us he never could have predicted the show's success, an audience of nearly 20 million viewers an episode. Nor did he imagine he'd ever be talking about his mental illness.
You dropped the pill.
Yeah,
As our camera rolls,
yeah, it's right here.
he drops the one anxiety pill he brought with him to the set.
I don't want you to touch the floor, and I won't touch the floor. You know, it's coming off like crazy. But why? I'm not going to take it.
To this day, Mandel is in therapy and on medication for the anxiety that comes with his OCD. He won't say which kind because he knows the millions of adults suffering from OCD are also looking for a cure-all. For him, this latest medication came after working with his own doctor and therapist.
But you only brought one pill from the hotel.
Yeah.
So that means you'll go without it rather than have the one pill that you have.
Right.
This is precisely the kind of moment Howie Mandel kept secret for so many years, until he let it slip, his battle against OCD on the Howard Stern Show.
You know, I've got a germ fetish. What is your big fear? You're going to get disease? You're going to get sick?
Yeah. Did you want to take it back immediately?
It was devastating to me. You know, I was incredibly embarrassed, and I thought I had humiliated my family, and I thought that this is going to be the end of my career because people are going to know that I do have mental health issues. It was like, what have I just done? What did I do? What did I do? It wasn't funny.
It wasn't funny, but it was real. And like the 40 million American adults who suffer from anxiety disorders, Mandel's began when he was just a child. He remembers as far back as 6 years old.
They would make fun of me because I couldn't tie my shoes. Well, I could, but I didn't want to touch it. But I don't want to say I'm afraid to touch it because it's dirty, so I didn't.
The battle in his mind was constant.
I had like a fight going on inside. Like I got to wash my hands, or I feel filthy, or I haven't spent enough time in the shower, or there's something still crawling on me.
There wasn't really a point in living anymore.
Mandel is aware of the children we've reported on here after documenting their struggle with OCD for more than a year. Their own fears of germs had become debilitating. Like Bridget, afraid of germs from her own family, unable to sit on the same couch as her mother.
Oh, don't.
There was Michelle, who spent hours in her shower under the scalding water.
I pulled her out of the shower, and she just sat on the floor and rocked and crying.
And there was Rocco, who begs his mother to reassure him every day that he won't get sick at school.
Honey, I don't know what you're saying. I don't remember what I said about the day. You'll have a great day. Why do you do this? I said a couple things.
Mandel sees himself in those children. He said he was an outcast in school, his humor out of bounds. Expelled from high school, he never finished. But he would find the stage a place for his comedy, and a young woman who found his brand of humor charming. 30 years later, she sits beside him as his wife, and both remember the title of his first featured act.
Borderline psychotic. When you look back at that marquee,
How did they know?
Yeah, exactly.
do you remember the first time you saw the rubber glove?
Yes. I thought it was nuts. But I thought it was hysterical.
But even then, the rubber gloves were no joke, carrying them for more than his act.
And you knew that at the time.
We didn't know it was OCD then, but I did know that he took a lot of showers. He had certain rituals that he did, but I didn't know what it was.
She also didn't know it would get worse. In describing what life is like, Mandel pointed us to the movie The Aviator. Remembering the portrayal of Howard Hughes, he said, there were striking similarities.
At the end, he ends up naked in a room locked away, urinating into a bottle. And he doesn't want to face the world. And I said, there are times, and I'm not excited when I'm that close to that.
How many times do you think have you been that close to that scene? Kind of trapped in a room.
There's a couple times, moments in a month, when it's just hard. When it's just hard to go out or face anything.
A couple of times a month, paralyzed by his fears. And we wondered, how was he able to be a father?
How did you raise 3 children?
That was tough. It was tough. The kids, when they were crawling on the floor, everything, it was so hard for him.
And there was this, a second house built in the backyard for Mandel to escape the germs of his own family. A solitary place where only Howie Mandel would go.
and it's embarrassing and it's hard, especially in front of your child. We have constantly told